How's it going, Ram fans? Welcome back from the break. As I'm sure you already know, my name is Madeline Davis. It's officially March, so let's let the madness begin with a jam-packed night of college basketball. After what was a super disappointing result at Wyoming over the weekend, CSU women's basketball looked to bounce back on senior night against the Boise State Broncos back on Tuesday. And while the celebration of these longtime contributors to the program was bound to bring a special atmosphere, regardless of the result, Ram fans will be happy to know that CSU took this one quite easily. Regardless of the score, Boise actually got off to kind of a hot start. Here we're going to see Anna Ostile hit a long three. Gives the Broncos a little bit of a lead, but as you can see by the score, that meant nothing. The Rams came back quite quickly. Here we see Callie Clark wide open to Hannah Rosnick. Man, don't hold your breath, because you knew it was going in. Here we see a really long pass from Maya Hansen. Back to Anna Ostile again. She fakes, opens it up for herself, drops it in for two. This next play, CSU took a timeout before it, and I like to think it went exactly how they drew it up. Destiny Thurman, Kendall Kinzer, she just turns around and she goes, oh yeah, I can make that, no problem. 66-51 was the score. Rams take the win. And as those highlights showed, what a perfect way to close out the regular season. Am I right? With the victory, the Rams end their campaign with a 19-10 record, which of course came with some impressive accomplishments along the way, including in their play 2 nights ago. As you can see here, CSU definitely cleaned up their floor play and put out some impressive team stats like their 93% free throw percentage and only 8 turnovers compared to Boise's 14. With this, though, the Rams didn't have their best night shooting, at least for their standards. But as long as you outshoot your opponent, that's all that matters. And obviously, they did just that. With no surprise, guard McKenna Hofschild led the team in points with 19. I mean, what else is new? While fellow guard Destiny Thurman and forward Kendall Kinzer followed close behind with 11 each. The Rams will be back in action this next week at the Mountain West Tournament down in Vegas and will play the winner of the Boise State versus Utah State showdown taking place this Saturday at 7. So a rematch from senior night could very well come into play Monday night at 7:30. And obviously the women were not the only ones hitting the court this Tuesday. The men were out in San Jose taking on the Spartans in what the Rams were hoping would be a revenge match after the Spartans' first ever win in Moby back in December. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. Honestly, CSU came out kind of hot. Here we see Patrick Cartier is going to sink it in for 3. He actually scored the first 5 points of the game. The story in the first half for the Spartans was all Spanish exchange student Alvaro Cardenas Torre, who hits a 3 here. He was a huge contributor to the first half for San Jose. Here is honestly maybe the best play of the whole game. John Tange behind the back. Watch this reverse layup, just shoots it up. Oh my God, it went in. Whoa. That is a SportsCenter play if I've ever seen one. And honestly, the Rams don't get that too often. Here we see one of the best players in the conference, Amari Moore. He hits that 3. This gives the Spartans a decent lead that they obviously ended up keeping the rest of the game, 63-46. And honestly, despite what some of those highlights may show, to put this one nicely, this one was horrible. Both teams shot below 40%, with the Rams shooting at 36.5%. There's absolutely no way you can win a game by only shooting 36%. CSU also had a terrible free throw percentage at 37.5%. This is normally the one place the Rams are actually decent, but I guess when it rains, it pours. And with no surprise, their 3-point percentage was absolutely abysmal too. Apparently, unless your name was Patrick Cartier, you couldn't score. And after that type of performance, CSU will obviously be looking to bounce back from the atrocity that occurred. And for this Friday night, for senior night against the New Mexico Lobos. We'll tip off the action by honoring 4 quality seniors, including guard Nick Bassett, forward James Moores, guard John Tange, and last but certainly never least, one of the greatest Rams to ever do it, star point guard Isaiah Stevens. And now shifting gears to the matchup itself, the first time CSU met with the Lobos was back in December to kick off Mountain West play. At this time, the Lobos were 12-0 and ranked number 22 in the nation. Luckily for the Rams, though, New Mexico has really dropped off since then, and is in fact 6th in the Mountain West now, right below the Rams' previous opponent, San Jose State. When looking at New Mexico under the magnifying glass, while they have some impressive wins, it's definitely the losses that stand out, with the 3 worst being their first loss on the season to a struggling Fresno State squad and 2 double-digit losses to both Air Force and, yes, Wyoming. Yeah, you heard that right. The formerly undefeated Lobos have a loss to the Cowboys, a team that made CSU look good last week. Needless to say, New Mexico is just a bit inconsistent. Still, this is nothing the Rams should look past, though, as they do have some very talented players like Jamal Washburn Jr. and Jalen House, who account for nearly half of the Lobos' points on a given night, with Washburn averaging 19 and House at 17. If the Rams even want a chance to send the seniors off right, they have to find a way to shut down at least one, if not both, of these key Lobo players, while, of course, still managing to get production out of more than just Isaiah Stevens. While I wouldn't say I'm necessarily confident in CSU's ability to take this one like I was against Wyoming, I definitely wouldn't count them out. The Rams have put up quite the fight this season against some strong Mountain West teams, and we should expect a bit of spark in their play after that horrible outing in San Jose the other night. So honestly, I smoke for the Rams in this one, and no one wants to lose on senior night. And well, Ram fans, that's all I've got for you tonight, but don't think we're done quite yet. After the break, feature reporter Zoe Weir will be giving you a look into what CSU students have been doing with this nice weather. We'll be right back.